Hello everyone and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobbie Richardson and I will be your guide for today. I am in a brand new place. I just moved. I'm only here for a couple of months and then I'll be moving again. My life is like a wave at the moment. So we're just going to go with this and see where the adventure takes us, right? Okay, so today I'm going to channel, and when I channel, I connect to the CYANIANS, who are Pleiadian beings, high-end Pleiadian beings that are blue, royal blue kind of color, see-through, look like the universe, very tall, slender, and they are all-knowing. They can see through different levels of dimensions, and so I connect with them. They came to me in a dream and told me of what was going to happen. In this reality, the next stages and stuff like that, so, or some of the next stages, and now they channel through me. They are like Blu-ray beings of the Pleiadians. That's the only way I can put it. So it's like Pleiadians that have gone through a lot and then they come out the other end and they are closer to source energy and they have all this kind of awareness. I also channel through just Pleiadian, my Pleiadian buddies and friends that are over there. They have so much wisdom about living in dimensions that are higher in nature, higher love vibration in nature, and the adventures that you can have through all of that as well. So, hey Debbie, hey Sky, good to see you after a long week not being here. Yeah, I had to take a week off to move. So let me tap into them. But I also, the big thing that they told me to call this was the void and moving through the void. And they said that I was literally in the void. So it was a really good time to talk about this because I'm going through it. And then I can help guide you guys, because what's happening is I go through it. I keep getting these messages about being in this void. And the void is in between stage, between one program and another. They're showing me, like, say, for instance, you had a tapestry that you were weaving or whatever, and then you finished it. You were all excited about it, you learned a lot by it, but you got also bored by it as well. And then you put it down, and before you pick up another one, before you decide which one you're going to pick up next, there's this void that happens. It's the space between notes, they're telling me. It's a space between breaths. It's always something that's ever present in the moment. Interesting. Okay, so the void is all to do with rebuilding confidence, realigning with your desires, restructuring your day, reminiscing on the past, but not to hang on to it, but to use it to restructure what works for you and what doesn't. Reinventing yourself, not through actions, hoping that they will make you feel good, but through feelings and feeling into what's going to make you feel good, and then allowing the actions to progress from that feeling base that you are having. So this is the whole turnaround sort of thing. They are bringing up Alice in Wonderland at the moment in my mind, because it's kind of like a place of confusion as well. Where much could be let go in your life, and you can feel like, where is the next stage or anything like that. So you're not sure exactly what that future looks like, because you're no longer coming from your logical mind trying to predict the future, which you can only grab from the past and project into the future. You are now sitting in a void that is ever present, but also because you're not used to it, it can feel very confusing, because you're asking your logical mind to just back off and not create the next step from what's happened in the past, but using what you had and what felt good in the past to have as breadcrumbs to go, well, I did enjoy myself then. Maybe that's something to look at, to bring in for my future. But everything else must go. And also, with everything going, they're showing me the space that is created. So the space that's created is a space of reinventing and realigning with not just your logical mind anymore, but that soul understanding and soul wisdom and all past lives that your soul's been on, and also opening the vortex to more connection to beings and stuff that your soul does in a higher frequency, because your soul is everything, but it is also connected to those that loved you in a past life, and that's who I connect to when I channel. So that's allowed to sort of flourish. But they said there'll be moments through this void where you might feel like nothing's happening, no connection, no nothing. And they're saying those are the moments that you need to look back at yourself, just be present, just watch your breath and that. And if you ever feel a slight anxiety, it might feel like there's anxiety always at the surface, but you can hold it just there to keep yourself in this present moment and keep rechecking in. They want you to keep checking in, because this is a moment also when with the reinventing that we can also learn how to manifest in faster times. So in the void, you have the ability to what you are feeling, what you are thinking, and you're reanalyzing who you are and watching it play out in very quickly in your outer world, and then readjusting to all of that. So in other words, you might be in this void, you might go, okay, I really want this. And then it starts to come closer and you're like, ooh, don't know if I want that. And as soon as you do that, all of a sudden the person or the object that's coming closer to you all of a sudden starts to vanish. And that's what they want you to look at through this kind of voidness. If you ever feel, and the reason I just want to come back to, because I'm talking to quite a few people here, and some of us are still in that logical thinking mode and the fire of getting rid of that. So we're in that kind of still fight and flight, which is what the past program was all about. And then it will come to a stage where you make a decision, a firm decision of, I need to move forward. I need to move towards my higher self connection. And that's when everything starts to change outside of you. And then doors will open real quickly of do this. See, I had these doors opening for me. We've got the New York thing coming up in April next year, where I'm more than likely going to go there and talk on stage. And with that, though, I also had the move that I had to make and all of that. It was like a lot. And I said to myself, I need a space to have just a moment to myself and figure out who I am completely, 100%, align myself with my higher self. So I've given myself this space where I don't have to do my day job now. And I'm living for a couple of months in a place that, you know, the cupboards are full with food and stuff like that. And I just need to focus in on me and find out really genuinely who I am in that higher essence as I move forward. And this is the void. And you can make this void as long or as short as you want, because you are the creator of your reality. So you could say, I just need that void space for a week, or I just need it for a moment or something, or you need it just, you know, in increments or something. It can come in fluctuations as well. They're showing me the sea moving in and moving out, but always there will be I needed a real firm, big kind of a void. That's because I feel like I'm making a massive leap into something more, and it's also because I feel my soul is quite a wise it's a wise soul. So, and it holds a lot of understanding of how to make these shifts. And so do my friends that I connect with and channel through. And we have this kind of a mission that we're pulling together. So for me to jump from little old me that's a victim and, you know, plugging through life and relying on somebody else to help me and all that sort of stuff, and then going, boom, I am the essence of myself, moving forward from a soul's perspective, seemingly to me, to my logical mind, quite daunting to go from there to there. And so I asked for this space to happen. So you are the creator of this, how it works, but there is always a void where a breath, just as you breathe, there's a space, and then you breathe out, and you breathe in, and then a space, and then you breathe out. That space is the void. It's also the feminine aspect of ourselves, the unknown, and that's why it can get very confusing in that moment. But I can handle the confusion because I know that it's leading me towards more, so I can handle quite a big space. But some people might want it in increments. Just to let you know that as well. Hey, everybody in the chat bar. Well, Celtic, good to see you. Black Diamond as well. Good to see you there in the chat bar. So, yeah, had a week off. So I suppose everybody's on holidays as well. We've got December here too. Yeah, interesting times happening at the moment. So they really wanted me to bring us back to that understanding of that void. You might still go through it next year, or you might be going through it now, or you might have gone through it last year. They also said it can seem like you're going through it in small stages, and then it's leading up to a bigger moment. And the confusion will only set in when we allow our logical mind to try to analyze it. And my logical mind is a great analytic mind because I've got so much Virgo in me. I'm all, you know, about the mind and analyzing everything. So it is a place of wisdom where we come back to self and readjust, realign, reawaken too. It's all re's that they keep giving me. You have to learn to also rely on your own self-love other than others loving you. And that's huge. So a lot of the times in these voids, you will find yourself just you. Or you'll find yourself like maybe you've got a partner, but they've kind of gone on a holiday, or you're not talking in that moment, or something like that, because it's asking you to come back to you and not be reliant on on your self-love, on other people loving you. That will come naturally through your own self-love. So when you say to yourself, I can see a part of myself that I've been hiding from myself because I was in fear of what that might mean to the outside world if I allowed to express that, then you are automatically asking the outside world to come in and say it's okay. But when you turn it around and you say, I will address that, and I will start loving that part of myself that I have been hiding, because when you do that, you are standing in support of yourself, and support is really needed for this next stage. It was one of the biggest things that happened to me when I met oneness on this journey. I went on a journey, and I ended up going through a lot of, where am I supporting myself? And I'm not supporting myself here. It's kind of screaming for somebody outside of myself to support me. And when they weren't arriving in this journey, I ended up having to go back to earth and just say, I'm the only one who can support me. And that making that firm decision meant that you were never relying on anybody else anymore. And when you don't rely on other people, people are reliable, because because that's just the way it flows, because you've already put out to the universe that you rely on you, so you choose everyone that is reliable. That's how it works. See, and they're showing me that Alice in Wonderland again, where what was up was now down, and what's down is now up. It's what we thought was the truth is now coming from the inside out is the truth, and that was always the truth. That's why we perpetuatedly went into the cycles of never getting out of an imprisonment, because we never felt who we truly were on the inside. And so we seeked it outside of ourselves. And then when that didn't show up, because it couldn't 100%, we felt victimized in this reality. So when we come from the inner core and learn to really readjust and say, I can only really rely on myself, because I'm the one making the decisions on allowing who to come into my life. I'm the one that's making the decisions on what I do next, my actions and how I speak and all of that. I'm the one that makes all those decisions. And you do. And you can say easily in your logical mind, yeah, but that person forced me into it. But no one's more powerful than who you are. At the core essence, we're all source energy, the same power moving through life. We're the same. We are just one essence, soul, prime creator, moving in through this life. So when we see a nemesis as more important or more powerful than us, there is always a lack within you that you haven't readjusted to say that you can create them out of your reality or out of your existence by changing your vibration of how you feel about yourself. Right there is a key point to these higher frequencies and how we move through them. It's readjusting the vibration of ourselves. And the creative void, they're calling it a creative void, is important. They're showing me the hourglass, and then the hourglass, how I literally drew this for these times where we were all one grain of sand and we're all fighting to go through the central point of the hourglass. But we could only manage to go through, when we go through that point, only love would exist in that point. And so if you were seeking outside of yourself because you didn't feel it within you, then when you went through that point, it would be quite difficult. You would have a difficult life in that moment, because it's like everything would shatter. The illusion of the outside world being that love, it shatters. It is that love, but only from the respect of how you feel about who you truly are. Because you are the creator. And then when we pop out the other end, we're free then from understanding how important it is that love essence is. They're bringing me to, in the past, people would mention the word love and they would just see it as a kind of sexual connotation, and that's it. And that's just the logical mind trying to compartmentalize it into a box. But there's so much more to that word. It is light. It is wisdom. Light is wisdom, because it's connection to the all-knowing and all possibilities. Light is connection to all possibilities. It's so all wisdom can be poured through you, depending on your focused attention on that actual subject as well. So we are all light, moving through this story, creating. I literally just saw a post a few days ago, and it was reposted this morning by the elder that I worked with, to do with light, we are walking light, bags of light, something like that. I can't remember exactly what it said, but they're bringing me to that at the moment. And then, yeah, seeing where else we'll go with this. Hey, Anne and Liz, good to see you, Yannicka. My team is back. See what else comes through with this void, and if anything else. I have actually channeled through some other messages as well. I'll pull them up on my phone and we will go through some of those as well. I just want to tap in and see why we've got this whole void lesson happening. The core essence of everything is a spark of consciousness. It's funny when I said spark and my phone goes ding. So also vibration, sound. What are we vibrating to? What sound are we, what music are we producing? What song are we producing? You know, we call it a universe because uni means one and verse is a song. It's one song you're singing, you're creating this one song. And that's pulls you into, that's also the shift where we're into that void of changing up the song or changing up the vibration or changing up how we feel about ourselves and our outer world as one. I mean, yes, the outer world is who you are as well, in reflection to how you feel, but because we've got it the wrong way around, in the past, we weren't even thinking about our feelings. Like people mention feelings in the past and it'd be like, stop. You know, I literally got told to stop feeling when I was a kid because I felt so much. And my father's like, you know, to be able to live in this world, you're too emotional. But that was necessary. It was who I was. I had to be that sensitive to be able to pour the wisdom into me. And the more that you move into these higher vibrations, the more you have to learn how to handle your emotions as you go along. And so you become more sensitive, but you also become more understanding that you're a creator as well. It goes hand in hand. And if you just had a whole heap of emotions, but you never felt good about yourself, and you will create disharmony around you everywhere because you're seeking something outside of you that wasn't aligning with who you felt you were. And that's what I literally did all my life. And I ended up in some even nasty relationships. But also I had in my head, I am protected through my whole life. I always felt that. So it never come to that point of too bad. And if the worst that had happened was necessary in that moment for me to really understand who I was and really get your butt out of there. Just trying to see if there's any other messages. So the void is the blackness. It is represented by, there is a space within, they're showing me the space, all the planets and the stars, and there's a void within that where there's hardly any planets or none at all. There has to be in reflection outside of us exactly what's within us as well. I don't know what that means by that. They're showing me a light, but the light has to come from a point of nothingness, space of clarity, moment in the moment. And they show me like the light coming from that plasma. rather than fire. They're saying that too. Why plasma? What's the difference? I'm no scientist, so I have no idea logically. Plasma. They're showing me a vortex. And now the heart being a vortex. I suppose I'm trying to super analyze blackness or darkness or being in the moment or the void. I'm trying to super analyze it, and it's probably not something that can be analyzed in the respect of this physical world, because it is nothing. There's no physical to it. It's something to do with the plasma that comes from it. And that's the light. And it's a vortex. They show me the DNA. There's some learning there that I haven't quite mastered yet. But I'll see where that goes, maybe in future channelings. Showing me this too. See, this is my carrier for my moldavite that I hold on to. I put it in this to protect it. And see the spiral, the vortex is showing me that they actually brought me to another a kind of a what is it, post on Facebook, sorry, I couldn't even think then for a second, where you can unravel the heart, and it is an actual vortex. At the central space of ourselves. So something to do with that. I wonder why we're bringing all this up. Equilibrium, coming to the central point of ourselves, readjusting, becomes the void. Then we can move from that point out. They're showing that they're bringing me to a lady. I'm not sure if I'm going to say her name right. Anna Moriarty or something like that. And she ended up having huge cancer. I was shown this many decades ago, actually. She had cancers and all that sort of stuff. And then she ended up healing herself by having an out-of-body experience. And when she had the out-of-body experience, they said it's like a massive void that she went through in that moment, where she just let go of absolutely everything, life, everything. But she also found in that space her true authentic self. And this is what they're trying to bring us to using the void to find our true authentic self. And the story will always play out in the logical mind, but anything is possible in that void. All cards, everything's off the table, and it's like they're just showing me clearing the table, and then having, okay, what do we really want? How do we really want to be in this world? How do we really want to move in this world? What do we really want to be? Because when you know who you are, when you have clarity of coming to the empowerment of yourself and who you want to be, the rest of the universe will fold in on that. They're showing me an embryo folding in on the mother's embryonic fluid, and it folds in and it becomes the spinal fluid of of the next being and the next being. We are in that space of learning to become the spark of our own consciousness again, recreate ourselves from a space of nothingness first. So that's why they want you to still the mind as much as possible through the void. Just be ever present as much as possible, because all cards are off the table and any possibilities can happen. And then when you see some possibility coming towards you that you are like, I love that. I love that idea, but the fear might come up, and then you're like, oh, I still have just that ounce of, I need to just clear that or just let it be. And they're showing me that the space on the table being wiped, and then one kind of like a big breadcrumb or something on the table, and you're like, I see you now. It's the space in the void where you can see with clarity what needs to be shifted and what you can create, what you can pull in and create that aligns with you and a higher self, whether that be moving into allowing others to come into your life through trust of yourself, choosing who you want to align with, and building a new community, what you want to do with that power, how you want to express yourself in this world, how you want to be seen in this world, in this reality, and not keep going back to, well, it is the limitations of the logical mind. It's giving us a space of clarity. So there might be a moment in your life where everything falls apart, so that you can actually readjust and realign and re-listen to who you really are. Yeah, they keep bringing me back to that heart, and it's pumping. The pumping of it is showing me the sea, that waves, and everything is in this flux. But it gives us an opportunity to shift it up in the void, to shift it up, to shift it. I only say up, but it's actually within in a more loving way that you see yourself and this walk in this world. And when you start to see yourself in a more loving way, you start to see the beauty outside of you in a more loving way. And oh my God, it's raining. It's so beautiful, because it is. It's so beautiful, and it's grey, but it's just gorgeous, and it's nurturing, instead of looking outside yourself and going, oh, it's raining, and no, I'm going to have to get my raincoat on. It's so slippery outside. It's going to turn to mud, and no. When you're projecting outside yourself from the essence of love for this world and where you're at, you start to see the world in a different place. The world starts to shift to that vibration, and you are creator of this new existence on Mother Earth. So that's pretty huge right there as well. Yay. Okay, Black Diamond, I go there, the quantum field. Wow. Yeah, there are also opportunities when we sleep to go into places or meditate and go into these places and readjust and realign. And it's only when the mind still keeps catching on to that neuron path within your brain, and it keeps going over and over and over the same neuron. That wasn't really aligning with the true essence of who you were, that it keeps creeping back into your consciousness, not subconscious, but your consciousness. And that's when you think it, and then in thinking it is putting that your literal body closes up and stresses on that what happens if that's going to happen again, or the issue, or the anxiety, or the I'm scared, or whatever it is. Your body closes up, and so the heart then pumps in a different way, and their blockages can happen, and heart attacks. One of the things, and I do agree with this, that I saw on this post about the heart being a vortex, and you can unravel it and everything, I was also talking about too, and I absolutely agree with this, to realign with Mother Earth, go and walk bare feet out on Earth. I've channeled this sort of stuff through before. Hug from a loving person, get your hugs. If you're on your own, hug yourself. I have a big pillow at the moment that I use, and a beautiful deaf white cat that's 17 years old. It's asleep at the moment. I love my animals. So yeah, okay. I think that's all. I'm going to go over some of these channel messages that I've also written down on my phone, and let's talk about those as well. Okay. Okay, the first word that says, I didn't even realize this because it was on a different page. First word says nothing. Nothing exists unless observed, but all possibilities are possible. So when we talk about the void, it's about the void, okay, holding the potential of anything, it is only within the limits of the creator that there can be limits, but as the multiverse goes, everything is possible. And so that is hidden, that which is hidden from long ago and no longer known as a possibility in this now moment, will only exist again or be found when a soul remembers this, when you as a person remembers your soul that holds the memory of the life that existed, that soul existed, to be in that, where that unseen can be seen again. So that's interesting. So also in the void, when we connect to our soul, we are now opening this, and so there's more space because we're now no longer going over and over in our logical mind with all the doubts and the fears, and it's created some space. That connection to our soul reawakens things, different possibilities that were in existence either on in a different dimension, different planet, or the past of Earth herself, which has already gone or already been. They're just saying it in that way, already been, even though it all exists at the same moment. But we won't get into that, otherwise I'll start going down a different pot. But they're talking about when you remember through your own clarity, then you are shifting this reality by reigniting something that your soul wanted to bring through in this reality, but wasn't in existence at this moment in this reality. And that's why your uniqueness can seem quite crazy to the rest of the world, but why you have to support yourself with self-love through this journey of reopening yourself to the soul's understanding of remembering things that you wanted to pull through. So that's another very valuable lesson there with the void too. And that's also, they're saying, why things on this planet at this moment, there are going to be either groups or individuals that come into discovery or find things that were not found before or seen before on this planet. Because what was seen as what, you know, the history buffers and all that, the geologists or whatever, they might have picked or found something, picked something up or found something and dug it up, and then they saw it as just the surface value of what it is in the material world only. And then someone might come along who remembers from their soul's perspective what that actual value of that thing is, what you can actually do with it if it's connected to blah, 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 blah. You know, they remember how to use it. And so there's this reawakening of old ancient ties or ancient things. There's a reawakening that can happen. And that reawakening will change everything, because we then find different ways of creating energy that's aligned with Mother Earth, with the nature of all things. We find things that seemingly, if you only look at it at face value, would just seem like a lump of stone or carved whatever, but its true value goes much deeper than that when connected to these specific people that understand or remember what it's used for from a past life. Vortexes will be open as well to other planets. More wisdom can come through. There's just so much more adventure to be held. The fear game will fall away. New movies will be created too. I really want to make a movie. Okay. in this life. I think I might do that. Anyway, I might actually make a movie as well. Okay, anyway, sorry, just having my own little self-talk here. The truth lies within encapsulating all outside oneself as the reflection of that truth. The truth lies within encapsulating all outside oneself as the reflection of that truth. I think I kind of talked about that before, where the truth lies within, but it also, you have to bring in everything around you as part of your essence of who you are. The outside world is an extension of your inner world. I think that's what they were talking about there. Okay, fear is a disease. It literally makes you feel powerless, and therefore that lack that you feel makes your soul want to leave your body. So it starts to retract the life giving light from your cells, leaving them open to be consumed by disease. So literally, yeah, so that's really cool. I like that one because I actually wrote that one up on Facebook because it's, and I got a lot of likes for it, because you are literally creating the problem of your body ends up reacting to the fear. And so every cell holds love and light, which is actually this spark of our own divinity keeping us here in this body. The more that we love, the more we shine, the more we create, the more we grow, the more we live longer, they're saying. So all that is keeping us in the 80-year cycle of man, normal birth to death kind of thing, or 100-year cycle. It can expand to way much more when we start to live in with more light within our cells, and when we up level too, it's like fear doesn't exist like it did. It's not present in our reality. We're not consumed by it. It's just a learning curve of readjustment instead. And so we see it from a different perspective and different value. We don't get consumed into it and create the story through it. That too. I haven't reread these, so I'm just wondering what's coming next. You can only fully understand that which you have felt into. All else is stored facts that are only used because another told you to use it, or you choose to remember it from something that you did. But a fuller understanding needs to be felt. This is why we go through experiences, to ignite emotions and learn to control them enough to find wisdom within your feelings. Yeah. So yeah, it's how you feel. That's how you're moving through this life. And you are always moving through this life through your feelings. That is absolute. But because we have been denying our feelings, we have been putting ourselves in positions where we don't like our jobs, we don't like where we're living, but we're just putting up with. We keep putting our energy into things that we don't like. And it's because we're ignoring how we're feeling. And then we have to go see psychiatrists and things like counselors and things like that, because we don't know how to get ourselves out of that loop. So that's why they're like, to readjust yourself fully, you need to look at how you are feeling in every given moment, and where the lack or the disempowerment happens within yourself. I mean, I could probably do a whole, day of talk on that subject alone. What we give attention to, we feel. What we ignore, will eventually disappear. If we all focus on the life we want for ourselves and each other, the power of that would fuel a world worth living upon. The reason why fear and control work is is because it grabs our attention from a lack mindset. And a lack mindset leaves us vulnerable to others having more power over us. But there is nothing more or less powerful than you. Believing this will empower you to know your worth as your own central point of creation. I do talk about that a lot too. I know they bring up a lot of the same stuff, but it's so important at the moment, and they're like wanting to repeat it to get it into our logical mind and ignite that neuron path. The system was never designed for you. This is an interesting one that came through. The system was never designed for you to win. Like walking into a rigged casino, the house always wins. But once you rise above it, see your worth, you will find yourself aligned with nature where everyone wins, because we all work together. And they show me that the heart vortex again, where everyone wins, because we all work together to create the living standards we want and no longer give the majority, the ones, energy to the and no longer give the majority of our energy to the house of greed. I'll just reread that again. The system was never designed for you to win. Like walking into a rigged casino, the house always wins. But once you rise above it and you see your worth, you will find yourself aligned with nature where everyone wins, because we all work together to create the living standards we want and no longer give the majority our energy to the house of greed. So that's another, like, hello, wake up. It's a wake up call. Wake up, guys. That's why it's falling, and that's why the CYANIANS come to me in a dream and said that will fall. It will fall because it has no stability within its own feelings, its own rightful self. It was always going to fall. It could never withstand forever because it was all-consuming in itself and its nature, designed just for one or two of us to be wealthy, and the rest of us are striving. Once the rest of us get within our own vortex of ourselves and starts to see the value of who we are, we all raise our level up in awareness, and we start to find, or we create the jobs that will bring money in for us and not for those that have only held the greed. So we shift it all around. We start to support each other because we're supporting ourselves. We're supporting the right people. We're supporting the ones that actually do deserve. We don't support the big corporations that have been held in the greed and that sort of thing anymore. We're finding other ways, new possibilities. Remember, all possibilities are open for us in the void anyway. So we can shift anything within our own selves, then we are shifting our. It's actually incredible how much power there really is in that void. There is a lot of power there for us to be able to shift up our reality outside of us. I think that's about it for the channel messages for December at the moment, early December. Thanks, Sky. Sky says, love that. I really needed to be reminded of that. Yay. So I'll see if there's anything else that's coming through for us to learn from at this moment. Okay, they said they just wanted me to acknowledge that I have also been the emerald tablets, Thoth's emerald tablets, or the emerald tablets of Thoth, has come into my reality again. I know they did about a year ago or so, where I dreamt of being handed them in a lift, and then the very next day it was on my YouTube, and then I was like, whoa, I just dreamt that. And they've come in my reality again, but it's the whole lot of them. So I'm going to go through them, and I'm just letting my mind wander with it and seeing what messages come through from them. It's them themselves, the actual tablets. I might put the link down below so that you guys can go visit them. They're pretty full on information, but it's kind of like it can help you reawaken as well. And I just want everyone to reawaken. You know, this is how we're going to create this reality. So if you feel a draw towards that, if you feel drawn towards those, I will give you the link down below. I'll try to put a mental note in my mind. And if I forget, please remind me. I think there's something very important within them about creation and how we're created. Realities outside of realities, and understanding ourselves from a much more broader or expanded understanding. That's all there, and they're infused with something that can ignite certain souls as well. So I might do an actual, okay, here's my channeling messages about them, and just make another day of it, because I've got all this time at the moment. So I might go live and do those, or do a recording of those. Don't forget, I also have a school called AMAKEL. If you want to join me over there, I'm actually going to put up another 3 games coming up, and it was interdimensional game, telepathic games. So some of my games are actual, like they're just dice and coins, and you flip a coin kind of thing, and then some of them are journeys that you go on into the elemental world and into you know, other dimensions and other planets. But there are also games of telepathic games, so that you can link in with me and see which one I choose and that sort of thing. There's lots of fun. So I'm just going to keep on producing them and putting them on the school, AMAKEL school. AMAKEL means, in Pleiadian language, learning via the intuition. So I thought that was just a perfect thing to call that. And so that's there. I'm also a one-on-one counselor, intuitive counselor. If you have any sort of, if you want intuitive channel guidance for yourself in the moment and where you're going, if you feel a little lost or something like that, then go link onto the links below, and you'll see, you can go on my website, Codes to a New Reality. Celtic often puts them in the chat bar, which is so cool. Thank you so much, Celtic, again, for doing that. There she goes. Look at her. She's just awesome. I also want to, and I'm feeling into this at the moment. Nothing's set in stone, and I do want to say this with a light sort of a feel about it, but I do feel that something's coming where a gathering might happen on, even if we just gather on Zoom as a few of us that want to maybe connect with me and say, yes, I'd love to connect with you as a group. There might be some sort of group that's forming here. I have had a couple of people say that they're interested, so we'll see where that goes. But I'm not going to set anything complete and concrete at the moment, because I am in this void and everything's kind of been reshuffled. And I want to really play it out in the flow of the moment, allow things to evolve. But I do feel that the New York thing will be, it really is starting to pull into a lot more an absolute kind of thing. And that's, yes, that's right. Got to say this. Oh my God, almost forgot, Sky. So what we've done is Sky has created she, bless his soul, absolutely amazing person, a GoFundMe to get me to go to New York, because so that we can pay for airfares, accommodation, that sort of thing while I'm over there, and get this ball rolling of doing talks live on stage. I'm quite happy to, I'm just putting it out there, but I'm quite happy to go live on stage and go around the world and bring in some, pull in more and more energy to get people to come together and have this shift of their mindsets and stuff like that. So she started that up, bless her, absolutely bless her. And I've thrown in a couple of 30-minute free readings for anyone that does give a little bit of money. You don't have to give much. Whatever you feel, what you can handle, then you go in for a free reading, 30-minute reading. So, yeah, if you want to go into that, I think that the links are down below. I will double check that. So it's a GoFundMe for me to go to New York at this moment. So, yeah, that's what's happening. just happening. We're in communication heaps at the moment about that. And it's getting exciting. The posters are starting to be created. I'm doing them at the moment, and yeah, got a lot of titles and things to be able to talk about and channel through with my team. I'd love to be able to meet as many people as possible. It'd be so much fun. And I think this is the reason why everything crumbled in my world, because it's completely freed me up to travel, right? And I did foresee this in a meditation when I left a really nasty relationship, and I just went really powerfully into myself, and I saw myself as my higher energy, and I saw this whole journey of going around the world and doing these talks. And now Sky's like, I didn't ask her, she asked me to do this. So I love it, like how this all works out. So it looks like that's reality is pulling me into that at the moment. So yeah, really excited about that and where that's going to go. Yeah, people already donated, Sky. Yeah, and thank you so much for all those that have already donated. We've already got $600 or something, and so excited about how it works. Can't find the GoFundMe links. Thanks, Celtic. I will reshift everything and put that in those links in there. Yeah. Okay, 2 mental notes now. I have the tablets that I have to put a link in and the GoFundMe links. But we will do that. And yeah, we'll see how that all flows. I think I'll leave it there, guys. And don't forget, I will pull some cards out on Thursday, but I have a feeling I'm just going to play this by ear. I might go live willy-nilly from now on. Just if I start getting messages coming through, just jump on and do 10-minute lives or something, or 20-minute lives. And I think I'm just going to throw caution to the wind and see where it goes. Yeah, because I've got this all set up now. Really happy how this worked too. I think it's quite pretty because all my other stuff is in storage. Okay, guys, I love you so much. Until the next channel message. Bye.